Well, today I have the lovely Jodie with me, and we're just going to have a little bit of a chat. I am really privileged that I get to work with incredible women, and Jodie is one of those who has just recently done my Thrive program. We have been working together for 12 weeks, and I've got to know her very well, and she is a beautiful human, and I feel really grateful that I've got to know you. But we're just going to have a chat today and let her just share maybe your experience, like of being in the program and how you have found it, maybe what you have learned, if there's been any standouts, like what, you know, generally what I find when I ask people questions, there's a few things that have been like really quite stand out, quite fundamental and like the
Yep,
so yeah, if you're happy to share, then
sure.
we'll talk through. First, though, I always like to
Yeah.
know how people kind of come about, like what I do and the program. So maybe we can start there. Like how I think we connected on social media, didn't we? Like how
I
did that
guess
happen?
so. I don't know how I came across you, but because we live in Brisbane, I guess, and I follow a lot of
Maybe,
Brisbane mums. I don't know whether that's it or not,
maybe
but
it could be. I'm all over the place, so you know.
yeah.
I find it interesting because some people start listening to the podcast and some people find me on Facebook, and it's quite interesting to know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure. I know we were chatting on social media for a while.
I think it was the free protein
Challenge.
challenge a couple of months ago, I guess. Well, it would have been
Yeah.
prior to the 12 weeks we've just done. So possibly yeah, it's the last protein challenge. And I actually think it was a friend of mine that recommended doing that just as a, I know about protein, but it's always, like you say, the accountability and just doing it with someone just reinforces, why you're doing it and just setting that consistency.
Yeah, for sure. And that
So
which is great timing because obviously we have another free protein challenge coming up. So do you
yeah,
recommend people do it?
yeah, definitely. Because it seems funny to me now that I'm so aware of protein and the intake and the ladies that I'm friends with. But to some people who have no idea about the lack of protein that they're getting, the low, the amounts that they're consuming and the amounts they should be consuming is so different that there's so many people that don't know about it yet and the good that it does for us. So
Yeah, that's
definitely,
right.
definitely start there because 5 days is not overwhelming. You can do anything for 5 days, and just those little steps each day that you take everyone through just is a real eye opener and a really good start for sure.
And even on the program, we saw that come up quite a bit. Like, that's why I do the free protein challenge because it really
Yeah,
is, it comes up a lot. I
yeah,
think because nutrition is, it can be a little bit subconscious. We tend to eat the same foods often, and it's quite
yeah.
easy if we're not focused and aware to miss things like protein and fiber.
Oh, definitely. And I'm a self-confessed carboholic. Like I would eat bread and toast, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner if I could, for sure, and did for, 20, 30 years. And that's how we end up here.
What have you noticed prioritizing your protein now?
Just not as tired. The protein, I don't know, because when you live on carbs like I did right up until a few years ago, you're chasing the next hit. It's like,
Yes,
you know, because
yes,
it doesn't fill you up. So you in an hour you're looking for something else and something else and then something else. So you just like I would eat all
yes.
day, but not enough to actually fill me up. So
That's
that's the difference. You can tell it straight away. Within a couple of days, you feel completely different.
That's so good. And
Yeah.
so, do you have any kind of like standouts from doing the program that have really been a game changer?
The reason why I wanted to do it with you is because I love your non-negotiables, and that's what I really needed to do. Like, and I think I told you in the beginning, I can do the deficit. I can
Yes,
do the weight training I do 3 days a week, have been doing for years, but and I can do the counting the calories, I can do it all. But it's when I'm not following a plan, that's when I would come unstuck. So
Hmm.
it's the maintenance phase, the everyday life,
Hmm.
where I would be up and down.
Hmm.
So just sticking with you for 12 weeks and just having a bit more stability in the day to
Yes.
day rather than the up and down, like being really good one day and then, living on toast the next day and,
Yes.
that sort of thing. So it's the non negotiables that I was after. And I think I said to you last week, I've sort of finalized what, you know, let's start with and make it really simple so it's easy to follow
Yeah.
every day. So you're not doing that sort of up and down through the week and then feeling crappy one day and okay the next and then crappy again. So
And it's working well.
yeah, definitely. Because your energy levels are just so much more consistent. You don't have those, oh, I just want to flop on the couch days and do nothing. And then you're like full of beans the next day. Let's go again. So it helps create that consistency, which is what you need long term, right? To actually make progress because the up and down and every other day just doesn't get you anywhere. You're
Yeah,
always you're always starting again.
that's right. Yeah.
So
And have you enjoyed the food?
yes, because it's very similar to what I already eat. So,
Good.
and I love I don't meal, I don't make a complete meal. I like how you do it. Like, let's just roast a heap of veggies. Let's just bulk
Hmm.
cook some protein, make a couple of breakfasts,
Hmm.
but putting things together when you want them rather than having a set meal, like making a complete meal and you have to have that for 3 days. I like the sort of the bulk prep, what do they call it? Food prepping rather than meal prepping, I think
Yes.
is the difference.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that is good for me because I'm like the buffet kind of person. I don't want to eat the same meal. I want a
Hmm.
different version every day.
Yes.
So that's been good for me. Definitely doing the bulk protein prep on the weekend. So at least for the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're good to go. So
Good.
that's been good for me for sure.
That's good. And did you enjoy being with like a whole lot of other women?
I love the girls. They're so easy to talk to. And any time of the day or night, you can get on and just, throw out your woes. And someone comes on and goes, don't worry, we'll do this or do that. What about this? Like everyone is just like, this is like sisters because it doesn't matter. Like I said, what time of day or night it is, someone will come on and answer you or talk to you or whatever, talk you
Yeah.
down. So,
That's
yeah.
right.
And they're
Oh,
just so easy to talk to.
that's good.
So, yeah, for
I
sure.
think that is a big benefit to why the program has worked so well, because when we are sharing like our journey, it does help give us more momentum and consistency, because even if we have a day, we've got that support knowing other people are feeling the same way,
Yeah.
and it helps us like, keep going.
Well, and different people look at things from different angles. So you might be so focused on something and you go, well, this is it. And then someone will come in and say, well, what about looking at it this way or attacking it from a different direction? And you go, oh, yeah, okay. So it just makes you, look around instead of being so focused on something, being a little bit flexible and going, okay, well, let's adjust this or that. So it's really handy to get everyone's different opinions and different views on things.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I know you were already doing really well, like with your nutrition and your training,
Mm,
but just imagine if you were one of those people who didn't have that stability, maybe you felt a bit overwhelmed, you knew you had changes to make. And I'm not
mm,
sure if you have ever been in this spot. I unfortunately went there.
mm.
Um, what advice would you say, like, to people listening to this, knowing they've got to do something, knowing they need some help, but
Mm.
maybe their confidence is not great, or their self-esteem is, those limiting beliefs we talk about are holding them back. What advice would you give them?
Look, I think, Chanel, you are one of the most positive people that I've ever met. You can turn a positive from any kind of negative, is what I've discovered. So if you need, backup, it's like someone comes with a problem and Chanel goes, but just do this. It's easy. Just turn it around. It's just, you're so good at seeing the other side of things and turning it into something you can work with. Um, Definitely. So if you're starting from scratch, like I know, it's just do what Chanel says, because it just it just makes it so easy to follow rather than trying to, because I'm a thinker and I just think too much, whereas you just seem to take away all the fluff and bullet point, okay, let's just start with, there's 20 different things you could be doing, but let's start with the top 3, and just work your way through it. So yeah, I love the way you can just simplify everything. That really helps me, because like I said, my brain goes round and round and round, but you seem to be able to stop it from spinning and focus. Okay, let's pull out just, 1 or 2 things, that we really need to get started on. So I think anyone that's, got, here's all the things that you should be doing, definitely you're the best person to I don't know, break it down and just simplify everything to make a start, for sure.
Maybe that's because I was in a mess myself once before. And so I totally understand 100% the
Mm,
mess it is when you're in that chaos. Like I have
yeah,
been there. And so I
yeah,
know. So when someone comes to me, I'm like, I know I've lived that myself.
yeah,
So it's easy for me to be able to relate, because when you've been there, you know exactly what it feels like, you know
yeah,
exactly how you're thinking, like all of those things.
yeah. And there's so much reading you can do, and so many books, and so many Instagram people, and so many, you know, just so much out there, that if you're overwhelmed by it all, to stick to a little group and, follow along is the easiest way to do it, I think, rather than trying to do it on your own. It's just so hard. It's just, what is it? Analysis by paralysis by analysis. That's me. Yeah,
Yes.
just don't do anything because it's just all too overwhelming.
Well,
But
that's why I asked you the question, because I know that, this is what holds women back from getting the results they deserve. And
mm,
unless we can overcome some of those limiting beliefs, and we've been talking a lot about mindset, obviously, on the program,
yeah,
we can't unlock that potential for ourselves. And that's
mm,
the most devastating thing.
yeah.
So when we can actually commit and start, you're away.
Exactly. And it's the, start with the basics, like you say, rather than listening to, like, remember I wrote the list, there was like 25 things on there. You got to
I
have your
know, I
greens
saw
and the
it.
collagen and the HIIT training and the make sure you sleep and make sure you do the supplements and the HRT and the weight training and the walking and the vest. And there's just so many things. But with you, you just seem to go, okay, let's just introduce one thing at a time, get consistent with that, and just sort of work your way down the list rather than trying to do the whole list altogether. And pick
True.
out the things that are important to you. Like me, I was already doing the weight training, so you didn't have to convince me to do
Yes,
that.
yes.
But, adding in those extra couple of things that can, just make the days more consistent. That's what I was after, and that's what you were able to do for me. Pull out the things that are actually important and get rid of the fluff.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully, if someone is listening to this before the protein challenge starts, that is a great place
yeah,
to start. Just get
yeah. I agree.
and do the protein challenge and focus on that with us for a week.
Mm,
And that is a great base point.
yeah, I agree. The protein is, if you don't know anything else, the protein is
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that you can start to change. Yeah, for
Yes.
sure. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much
Mm,
for sharing that today. I truly appreciate it. It's been
that's okay.
such a pleasure to journey the last 12 weeks with you. You're incredible, and keep up the
Oh,
awesome work and
thank you.
picking the non-negotiables off.
Yes, they're on the fridge.
Thanks so much, Jodie.
Thanks, Janelle.
Bye.
Bye.